Welcome, everyone, to this episode of the Expansive CEO podcast. I am your host, Hannah Chapman, and today we are talking with someone I've met recently, had the most amazing conversations with already, and I'm just so excited to share her journey with you. Arriana Acuna is here with me today. She's the founder and CEO of Operations Media, which is a done-for-you social media company that helps founders, CEOs, and creators build authentic personal brands through powerful short form, long form, and podcast content. So, really diving into helping people create their presence out in the world. As the visionary behind Operations Media, she leads the full stack creative and strategic team that really helps creators extract their genius and turn it into high converting content across platforms so we can build trust, lead our industries, scale with presence without burning out is the big piece there. And then beyond that, she's also the founder of Savra Holdings, where she acquires and scales service-based media companies as well. So as a sovereign entrepreneur, she doesn't chase, she attracts. So important. Aligned people, aligned deals, and aligned impact. And that is part of what we're really going to dive into today, Ariana. I'm so excited to talk to you. She is also a projector, a splenic projector in human design. We're going to talk about what that has been like for her and just dive in. So, Ariana, thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm so excited for this conversation. So happy to get to dive in with you. Please, please, please tell us more about who you are and how you got here to the things you're doing now.
Yeah, thank you so much for Hannah for having me on your podcast. I'm really excited to share my journey with everyone who's listening in today. Man, how did I get here? Well, I started out, we can go back to your typical type A, firstborn, high achiever, we're gonna do everything perfect, human. And so, man, I played Division I softball in college, full ride. Was gonna do pre-med. Uh, Switched my major to health administration. Got my major and master's in health administration as well. Thought I was gonna run hospital systems. Really loved the hospital or the healthcare world so much. Learned the ins and outs of the business. Been on the front lines during COVID in the clinical world. I knew healthcare like the back of my hand. Climbed the corporate ladder in healthcare IT, worked for an incredible healthcare IT company at the time when I was first starting out for a couple years, managed multiple hospital systems across the US, crushed it. And it wasn't until AI started coming in hot, which really dominated the healthcare industry probably about 6 years ago. I mean, AI is popping off now, but people don't realize that the healthcare industry has been investing in AI for the last 10 years. So I was managing a lot of the operations behind a lot of the healthcare IT world, and we operationalized ourselves out of a job. So that was the first major career break in my life, going from doing everything perfectly, type A, to, being laid off. They laid off my whole entire team, my whole ops team, all of my whole unit. And I was like, what am I going to do next? And this is coming from someone who has invested their whole life in the medical world, meaning the clinical, then the business, then managing hospital systems, then working in the corporate world and learning the corporate game and understanding everything in that world. I do come from a long line of family entrepreneurs on both my mom and dad's side. So, that was a little risky for me, but obviously I'm an entrepreneur now, so everything does come full circle. But what I really want to share is there is going to be breaks in different categories of your life, health, wealth, relationship, career, you name it. There's going to be major shifts, and it all happens for a reason. And so during that time when I got laid off, man, it was already about 5 years now. It's like, what do I do now? Do I want to get into real estate? Do I want to start my own business? Do I want to go back into the corporate world? Do I really love healthcare? And for someone who's always had a plan, I mean, ever since could talk, I would always ask my mom, like, what are we doing today? I need the whole schedule. I want to know from this moment we wake up till the moment we go to bed, what's our schedule? So because I didn't have a plan and I was instantly laid off, I was like, what am I going to do? So what did I do? I went to my normal routine. I was doing CrossFit at the time, was competing at our local CrossFit gym in St. Pete. Went twice a day. So knew that I can control the controllables in my life. And what not a better time to really double down on my health, my wellness. What do I want to do now? And so, um, just being consistent with the things that I love whenever you're going through a major change in your life, if you go back to the basics, and that's something that I've always learned from being, playing softball in college. I mean, just being an athlete at the highest level, it's all about the fundamentals. And so when you go back to the basics, truly, when you have these major breaks in your life, I went back to the basics, what I love, what I know. So I went back to CrossFit, and I had a very unique opportunity at the time to grow and scale another media agency. It was the first TikTok agency. We were serving giant clients in the business world, some of which everyone knows, likes, and trusts right now. They were investing in organic social media 5 years ago.
Hmm.
So now they're the industry leaders of today. And so obviously I was an operations nerd, grew and scaled that company. Um, After I left that company, I grew and scaled other media agencies. And I was like, I really love media operations. And I really love the media world because it gave me the perfect mix between operations and creative. And you
Hmm.
can be an operator and a visionary at the same time. Yeah, we're very rare breeds, but I
Yeah.
thought I had to be an operator, type A, OCD, always have a plan, know everything from start to finish, hyper analytical, but I was ignoring what sets my soul on fire, which is also the creative genius, which comes with media, which came with directing, which came with later on in my life figuring out that as, a projector by human design, I realized that I'm not utilizing my gifts, that I can see patterns in the operation space as well as deeply see human beings
Hmm.
and really extract their genius and turn their gold mine of IP that these business leaders in the world are sitting on and allow the masses to know, like, and trust them for truly them because they've built the business, but we help the world feel it.
Ooh.
And that's so powerful to allow the world to feel it. We do not script. That's part of my gift. We extract the genius. We have incredible directors. I'm the lead director because I just love doing, I could do it all day. But that's my gift now. And so that's a little bit about me and what I'm doing. And I also am heavily invested in growing Savra Holdings. This is a holding company that I've created. I came up with Savra because it's a little bit more chic than Sovereign
Hmm.
Holdings. I love Savra because it gives a modern twist to the root word sovereign, which means we are whole. We don't need anything else. We attract, we align, we are ethically, morally sound. And those are the types of media businesses that I'd love to grow and acquire and scale with aligned founders. So that's my journey and that's my mission to create a revolution of the top founders all over the world to be deeply seen, heard for who they uniquely are because they're sitting on a gold mine of IP that the world just hasn't seen yet. And the number one thing they come to me and say is, I don't know what to talk about. How do I talk about this? How do I share this with the world? And I said, you just have to share it. Let me extract it from you because everything you need is already inside. We don't need a script. You already have the IP. Let's just capture it. And that is such a breath of fresh air for them. So, um, that is the foundation that I've built operations media from. And I'm having such a fun time doing it. So,
Well, I noticed that immediately about you that the operations and the visionary together, right? You mentioned that when you were talking that that's such a unique combination because we do see that super often that a lot of times visionaries are they are, what do I want to say? I don't want to say messy because that doesn't, people don't usually like to hear that. But then when you stop and reflect, you're like, yeah, I guess that's true, right? Like the visionary is the one casting the big vision, like moving things forward, moving things out of the way, right? To like get to that new thing that they're creating. And then we usually need the operators of the world to come in behind, right? And be like, okay, here's how we operationalize this. Here's how we really make it work more easily. This idea is fantastic, but it doesn't work in these other ways. So we gotta, tweak it here and there, right? So the operators and the visionaries usually need each other. But what's so interesting about you and I think this is actually a projector trait in general, um, and one that is really interestingly also is we're moving into a phase in the global collective where projectors are actually even more important than they have been in the past because you have that unique ability of seeing into systems in the
Mhm.
operational space and then seeing into having that penetrating aura that sees into people as well, um, in a way that, especially if you are literally invited, right? If you are hired to do this work, then you're given the invitation to see me, for someone to say, okay, see me. I
Mhm.
want you to see all of me. I want you to extract what's, what's so special about me. You have that ability to do that more powerfully than almost anyone else, be just the fact that you're a projector. And so I'm so excited to have this conversation in particular about how that has showed up for you, how once you learned about that aspect of who you are, like how has that shifted things? And to talk about your splenic authority, because I feel like you're one person who, like, as soon as we talked about it and you learned, you're like, oh wait, I totally understand how that works in my body. I got it. I think a lot of people, when they hear splenic authority, if they learn that about themselves, they don't understand it. So I would
I did.
love for you, yeah, I would love for you to give an example of like, okay, how does it show up for you, and where have you had a couple examples of like, here's where I followed it, here's where I didn't.
Yeah, those are incredible questions. What I would love to share, your first question was how was I before I learned about becoming a splenic projector and what is life like now? Splenic projectors, from my history at least, we've always had this quiet gut knowing whether the data presents itself, whether it doesn't present itself. It's a gift, but it's also a curse because we know things quickly and
Mhm.
we see them deeply, and we can't unsee the things that we know, even if, like I said, all the facts are there, there's no proof or evidence. It's just this really distinct knowing. And I vividly remember, and it wasn't until working with you that you were like, oh, you're a splenic projector, 1,000%. You know that gut feeling? You immediately know. And it's right here, it sits right under your sternum.
Mm.
I have so many funny stories because my whole life, up until, geez, I just turned 31 and it finally clicked, like, oh, that's what it was. I've always been told you have a gift. Whatever that is, that's your gut. But everyone's told me, oh, that's just anxiety, or like, that's just, don't always trust your gut, Ariana. Like, you need to know the facts. And I'm like, I don't know. And then eventually I was always right, whether that was years, months, days. I always came back to, I just knew, even if there was no evidence, to the point where I would even like get so sick that I would end up throwing up sometimes. Like it was so strong that my splenic authority would truly make me feel so sick that if it was threatening or if there was something that really wasn't aligned with me, I'd honestly like feel so nauseous that I would have to throw up. And I'm like, what is going on? And then once whatever it was in my life, health, wealth, relationships, business, whatever the category of life that this would show up in, whenever I would feel that way and I didn't make the change, when it made the change for me and I knew it, it would push, 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 push until I got so sick that I had to make the change and remove myself, or it would remove itself from my life. And I was like, what is this thing? And so obviously, I've invested in nervous system alignment and obviously running your own business. It's a spiritual journey in itself,
Yep.
which not a lot of people even think about.
Oh my gosh, it's the biggest.
Business is so spiritual. I'm like, anything business spiritual, that is my love language. Um, and I've always been highly spiritual, and I always thought it was, yes, I do believe in God. So I do believe there is a mix of a gift, and it is, you can call it the Holy Spirit, you can call it whatever the gift that a splenic projector has. It is truly a gift that's a blessing and a curse, and we know things and we see things. And I mean, even as a from being little all the way through, early to mid 20s, now into my 30s, I've seen things and I've always wanted to share stuff with people. And that's why we work with founders who are ready to be seen because I can see someone's potential. I can see 10 years into their future. I'm like, this is what we got to talk about. Why aren't we doing this, this, and this? This is what we need to do. And they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I can almost map out. That's why I fell in love with operations. I can reverse in any plan on the business side, helping friends, really. I mean, any category of life, it's just this vision that you could just see. But not a lot of people are ready to be seen because it comes with truth.
Yep.
And once you know the truth, you have some decisions to make. And so that's why we deeply work with some of the best founders who create some of the best companies that are ready to be seen because even the most incredible founders, they're not on social media because they are not ready to be seen. And the only reason people are not ready to be seen is because they have not accepted the fact that being seen means allowing people to truly love and accept you for who you really are.
Mm,
And once you're allowing yourself to be seen by yourself, by your close friends and family, once the masses see you, it's just a magnet. And so that's why the people who are ready to be seen blow up, and the people who aren't, it takes them a while until they're ready. So it's like a little magic superpower that is a blessing and a curse. So now, to answer your question full circle, the way that shows up in my life after working with you, which, I mean, you've changed my life in so many different ways. I think because I've always known, but I haven't fully accepted it until recently.
mm.
And so some of the ways that's shown up is like now I have a newfound trust for myself, truly. Like any sort of time I have a that gut feeling that's just pressing, pressing, pressing there, either it brings calm to my nervous system and it's a good sense of knowing, or it's there's something off about this, and that's okay to not move forward with it. Even if all of the facts and the data and everything shows up perfectly, because I know what I know now, I can quickly align or disalign with the things that are meant for me, my business, my partnerships, the acquisitions that we're doing, whether they're big deals, small deals, the people that are in my life, relationships. Um, I mean, anything that doesn't bring that yes, that quiet yes, it's a no. And that's also okay because it saves time, effort, energy, and it really can mess with your nervous system. I mean,
Oh yeah.
transparently, as a splenic projector, if we don't know how to utilize these gifts, it can turn into health issues. I mean, transparently for anyone who's listening, if you're not really tapping into your nervous system and listening to your body, it can turn into an autoimmune disease. I mean, I'm currently newly found out about Hashimoto's. It's an autoimmune disease. Um, really working hard to cure this. I know a lot of medical practitioners will say you can't cure it. I beg to differ because I'm spiritual. We believe in energy, and it's already getting better in
Mm.
the last 2 months just by focusing on my human design and how my body reacts to things in every category of life. And so, yeah, definitely it's a gift, but it's a curse and you have to accept it and your life will be a lot more aligned once you know who you are how you're supposed to show up in the world, and then lastly, how you can use your gifts to help other human beings on earth know and understand more about themselves so you can help more people.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good um, overview of how that shows up for you. And I've heard it show up a little bit differently for some, like some people feel like if they get chills, right? Like goosebumps is their yes. Right. So they'll like have full body goosebumps. Or to your point like that, I've heard other splenic projectors say, oh, the no feels like a sense like a pit, like almost a sense of dread, existential dread. And I'm like, oh, that's a no. Right. And so, yeah, like being able to read your own body, I mean, because that's the biggest part of it is that the splenic authority is in the body. It's not up in your head. So if you are like circling around in your mind or allowing yourself to be, you had a knowing of no, and then someone else is like, well, what about X, Y, and Z? And you get into your head of like, well, it makes sense. So it makes sense logically. So I should go with that rather than, right? I find that when we say yes over our no, over and over and over again through our life, that is actually where burnout happens. That's where, health, especially health issues, start to crop up because you're constantly pushing yourself through and past what your body is telling you no to. And so it's so, so important to trust that when the no comes up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you feel chills on your body, that's also a sign of truth.
Mm,
So whenever I'm having conversations, I just came back from a conference in Miami, and me and another incredible human that I've met, we were talking about media, and we just both got chills. We're like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I really wanted to say, I bet you're a projector, but I was like, we'll save that for another time. But that's also, I did mention that's a sign of truth whenever you get chills, because our bodies pick up on things that are not always so factual. And I think the biggest lesson, not just for splenic projectors, but I think anyone in business, especially CEOs, founders, we all have this innate instinct, truly, that
mhm,
I think the biggest lesson in our life is learning how to trust ourselves.
mhm,
Truly learning how to trust ourselves and how to make decisions quick with our own gut instincts and listening to our intuition. Because we know if someone's going to work out, if whether it's a new hire, we know. And why does it take so long for, founders, CEOs to let someone go? Because we care. Because, we need to find facts. Sometimes we just know, whether that's relationships, partnerships, deals, whatever, we know. And I think that's the biggest lesson is to learn how to trust yourself. And I've learned how to trust myself in multiple different areas of life, but I think truly once you know your human design and you know how to work with it, especially if you're working with people and you're creating businesses, I mean, every CEO, founder, entrepreneur, we're creating something that's not even in the world yet. It's our life's mission to make it come to fruition. We have to trust ourselves because we have to build something that's not done yet. And so why don't we trust ourselves more? And so, yeah, it's a
mm.
constant reminder. But that's the truth will set you free, and we need to trust ourselves. Absolutely.
Oh, so good. Yeah. And with one of the interesting things that I like to remind people about, and I actually just had a client meeting yesterday where the invitation for the next month for her is to respond to life. She's a generator, so different design from you, but our strategy, I'm a manifesting generator, so my strategy is the same, is to respond to life and to really listen to my sacral authority, and for her sacral authority too, and trust the no's, trust the yeses. Like what happens if you just trust and move with your true sacral yes or no, right? It's a little bit different from the splenic authority, but still that sense of you're going to respond to life and you're going to trust your yes and trust your no. And her first reaction was like, oh, that feels really scary. And it's so telling. It's so telling because we are trained out of it, right? We're so trained out of it to like be um what do I say, open, like be open to other people's ideas. And it's not to say that that's not something that we should be, I want to listen to you. I want to hear what you have to say. But then when it filters through my authority of my sacral yes or no, I then get to trust myself,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So I am open to your ideas. And if it's a yes, if I feel that yes of like, ooh, let's keep talking, then yeah, let's keep talking. If I feel a no of like, that's not for me right now,
Right.
then that's what I need to honor and respect. And
Yes.
we're socialized in a way that is like, no, you don't want to. You're going to hurt the other person's feelings if you tell them no.
Right. And it's really like I think you really nailed it on the head. And I do knowing how you work as a human, trusting that that's how you make decisions. And also trusting that indecision is the worst decision. And there's really no right or wrong decision because what's meant for us will always find its way. And that's something that I really hold on to, that it's like even if I feel like I did make the wrong decision, if something is truly for me, we'll make it right.
Hmm.
So there's that piece that comes with that. So that's where now that I know what I know about my human design as a splenic projector, I'm more confident in my yeses and nos. Even if the data doesn't show, I just know.
Hmm.
And I stand firm on that. And it's not easy. I mean, man, it took what, 31 years to to
Yes, you're right on time. It's fine.
right on time. But at the same time, though, if I didn't have those experiences, it wouldn't be as sharp as it is now.
Right.
True. And I think even a lesson in this is there's a lot of work that I did to even make my path as straight as possible. Not straight, is clear, because there's no straight path. There's a clear path if you choose it, but I don't believe there's a straight path. But what I've done too is I've got really serious about distractions, whether that's food, whether that is social media, even though I'm in media, whether that's health, whether that's friendships, whether that's relationships. There are things that can block our our knowing, our intuition.
Mhm.
Um, it can be alcohol. I mean, anything that's not truly pure and for you, that can cloud our mind, our spirit, our soul. So the more pure you are, the clearer your body will be able to respond, and you'll know that, hey, it's not because, you know, it's not because, it's anxiety. Yes, anxiety is real, but if you're having, too many cocktails after an event, you might have anxiety, but you shouldn't. I mean, long story short, if you need to be super clear on what your goals are, and the clearer you know how you move and shake and how your body responds, you'll know if it's you or something you put into your body or your mind that's been a distractor.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's such a good point. It's really, really interesting to look back. And I've talked about this a couple of times on the podcast, I think, and had other people who've had this experience too of, during different times in my career. So being in finance, me particularly, people drink so much. Right. If you go to conferences, like any financial conference, it's like
It's like
it's
frat house again.
oh my
Really.
gosh, it is truly insane, like how much people are drinking. Um, and I'm a petite woman, and I could hold my own a little bit, but still, it was like just a massive amount of alcohol that was around and in that industry all the time. And there's a lot of numbing going on, right? Like exactly to your point of what's happening is like people are actually um, numbing the anxiety that they're feeling, right? So they're feeling, it's a, anxiety is a symptom of something is like something is misaligned here, something is not right,
Right.
And so we're numbing in different ways to like dampen that down so then we can
Yeah.
have, social interactions, talk to people, grease the wheels of business, all of those things that we say are like, that's why we do it. And what I found, especially through COVID, so I would have, I liked bourbon. I would have a glass of bourbon a couple times a week
That's so
and
finance of you, Hannah.
so finance, right? Like, yeah,
So
and
finance of you. I
in
love it. Anyway,
Cincinnati, like right across the
yeah.
border from Kentucky, we had all the good bourbon. Um, and during COVID, it started to be like every night,
Yeah.
like just a glass, on the rocks.
Hmm.
And then, oh, well, maybe I'll just have one more. Right. And so, and it was like
The
starting to
habit.
be all the time.
Yeah.
And I was not like the anxiety, the depression. There was a lot of confounding or there was a confluence of things that were happening through that time, 2019, 2020, especially that, I was just hanging on
Yeah.
emotionally
I
because
think we
things
all
were,
were.
yeah, right. And things were so misaligned at the firm that I was at as well, that it was just all together. And when I launched X Squared, I left in 2021, January of 2021, one of the first things that kind of happened was I kind of naturally started drinking less.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, I don't need that. I don't need that as much. And then a couple of years later, I've mentioned this on the podcast a few times too. I went to an ayahuasca retreat and had
Oh,
an ayahuasca ceremony experience. And I pretty much stopped drinking after that. It just was like, oh, I don't need that at
no.
all. I don't want that. I don't need the numbing that I was quote unquote needing before.
Yeah.
And that, from that point is when like I was able to really start listening to and hearing my sacral authority and feeling it.
It's incredible. When you get clear, sorry, give me 1 second. When you get clear, your body, how do I put this? You crushed it with that sentence that as soon as you get clear, our bodies are made to be signals,
Hmm.
truly. So when we listen to our body and there's no external numbing, whether that's alcohol or TV or, scrolling or even negative people in our life, when you get really quiet and you really work that muscle, which I've been doing the last month, it's so strong. You know your yeses and your nos even more clear. And I think that's something that if we look at a 360 view in the world, I think a lot of the spirituality worlds are opening up, that a lot of people are becoming more aware. I mean, even when we talked about even the finance or private equity world or investing world, why why haven't they done their human design?
Right.
Why? Like, why aren't we working on our nervous system? Because our nervous system is the main thing that allows us to really figure out how much wealth can we even hold. If we're investors and we're building
Mhm.
businesses, our nervous system will tell us truly how much money we're able to hold. And there was a really cool trick that I don't know if it was Eric. I learned this trick that if you write on, a glass or a mug or whatever cup, a specific number, $100 will feel so light. I can, throw this up in the air. 100 million might feel a little heavier, but it shouldn't because it's all based on how my nervous system is holding this. So
Mm.
$100 is going to go whoop, but 100 million, it's like, well, it's still there's some heaviness to it, and I really want to figure out why. And I think that's such a cool trick that our bodies tell us so much more if we just pay attention to it. Even doing little tricks like that
Yeah.
I've learned. So,
Well, yeah, because what's happening from the mindset side is it's like your expectations of what that feels like, right, are being layered onto even just the thought of, right? How does your nervous system even respond to like what if you pitched a client $100,000 contract for 6 months, right? Like, well, how does your nervous system respond to that? That's telling you. a lot of information, regardless of what you do or anything beyond that. Just the fact that if you see someone that makes $1 million a year and you're like, I don't even know how that works. Like, I have no idea what I would do with any of that. That's a signal, right? Your nervous system is in like fight or flight
Yeah.
at that moment.
Correct. Your nervous system is fight or flight if your body can't hold that container of wealth. And as soon as you feel safe holding $1 million, $10, $100, $50,000, you'll be able to feel it if you do that little trick that I showed you. Does this cup, is it feeling light or is it feeling heavy and why? That's where I need to figure out where am I not feeling safe?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you're spot on.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I need to
You're like, where can I find, where's the cup? Where's
I
the
know,
cup?
it's so good. It's so good. I need to bring back I can't find it right now. We just moved a couple months ago, so all of my artwork isn't out yet.
Great.
But I have this concept of that I've shared before. Some people maybe have seen it. If you haven't seen it, I think it might be on my website somewhere. But that we are meant to have wealth flow to and through us. We're not meant to have wealth, prosperity, money, literal money flow to us and stick,
No.
right? And just like and just hold on to all of it, right? That's truly not what money is for. Money is meant to move through the economy. And the more that you are able to be a steward of safely, and responsibly, so literally stewardship, think of how you're meant to allow money to flow to and through your system. That really defines how much you can hold. Because if your vessel, we'll call it, the picture that I have is that was just a pure download. I was like, I have to put this on paper. Is this big vessel covering the earth that, prosperity flows to and then over and it covers the whole earth. But if your vessel is small and you're afraid of like, okay, if I get $1,000, then I have to hang on to it, and it's very, you feel very scarce about that. That's where, the constriction of I can't let it go, I can't let it move, everything is scary, everything costs too much, right? You're not able to actually receive those bigger inflows, those bigger influxes, to hire employees, to allow more to pass through you, right? So it is I want to say a dance. Yeah, dance feels like the right word of allowing yourself to open, allowing yourself to receive more. But then when you receive more,
What do you
to
do with it?
allow, right, to allow it to move, to have that it has the dollars have a job. They're meant to move through you. They're meant to keep going through the economy, whether that's, paying the grocer or hiring people to help with your home or hiring people to help in the business, right? You're meant to allow money to flow through you. And within that, it also is meant to pool. I like the imagery of a river
Yeah.
where, a river is always flowing. The water's always flowing, but there are all these little safe pockets where tadpoles can grow and, where fish can lay their eggs, right? There are pools of safety,
And
even
I think
in moving water.
you made a good point. This just popped into my head too, because I recently, I mean, I've shared with you that I've ended a very long relationship in my life, but I've noticed if we do look at the data and also the splenic human design as a projector, um, if you think about it, the river that you were mentioning, and there are weeds or there
Hmm.
are giant rocks that you have not moved, there are blocks in our energy fields
Hmm.
that God, universe, money, abundance, that whatever energy that you believe in, it can't naturally flow through your river, like you were saying, if there are barriers, if there are weeds, if there are giant rocks or giant boulders, that if you don't move it and it's not moving itself, it's just stuck. And then that's where I feel like a lot of people, whether you're a business owner, you're in a 9 to 5, or you're just a human being figuring it out wherever you are in your life, you really need to identify where are things not flowing. And it's not to say everything needs to flow perfectly, but is this flowing at a healthy state or an unhealthy state? Because it can be blocking a
Mm,
lot of the opportunities in the course of your life. And then you don't want to live in has been, the has
yeah.
been story, right? Or I coulda, woulda, should have. And so, I mean, we all have those moments, but I mean, just working with you and really nailing down the human design, it's so powerful. It's so underutilized. And I think more people in the world are now more open to it than ever. And they should be.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
Yes.
It's such a powerful tool for self-discovery and reflection. And the boulders are such a good analogy to. I'm going to drop a recommendation for a book called "I Am the Word" by Paul Selig. He talks directly about that and calls them boulders, like these emotional blocks that we have, and he puts them in a room, which is such a, like, if you think about a boulder in a room, and so you're constantly like having to like scooch around this boulder, right, to like, you're like, oh, life can go on like normal, I'm scooching around the boulder, like, well, the boulder doesn't have to be there.
Yeah, did you put that there? Did you allow it to stay there? How long has it been there? Is it like a lesson? Is it supposed to be something that you can work through? To what extent? And that's in every area of your life. And so
Yeah.
it's that's a great analogy.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Ariana, I want to talk a little bit more in our last few minutes here about like what does it actually look like? Because one of the things you mentioned in the very beginning was, so many founders like don't know how to be visible. And it's not necessarily their gift, right? To like be able to just jump on camera and just talk about something. For some people, absolutely, that's their gift. But for others, it's like they need that space to be seen. And also from a human design perspective, that's very, very normal for a lot of people. Like you might not know what you want to say when you're just, by yourself with a microphone, but get on with an interview with someone like you who's able to like ask the right questions and they're just like blah, they can say everything. So yeah, talk to me a little bit about that and how it feels to help people become more visible.
I will share with you the number one piece of advice and also the number one thing I found why the most incredible, brilliant minds have not shared their story, who they are on social media. And it's two things. Number one, they don't know how to speak. And so I've worked with tons of media agencies, media production companies. I've done a lot of their operations. And the number one thing that they don't have that we have at Operations Media is we teach our clients how to speak on social media, whether that's podcasting, long form, short form, well, going live. It's an art. And as a director for some of the top business industry leaders that you see now today, they all have directors. We're not mic'd up. We're just extracting their genius. And they're able to just be their real, raw, authentic selves. And they're ready to be seen, but they're also being coached by directors who just pull out their genius that's unscripted, and we just capture that magic. And so that's the difference is even if you think about some of the biggest giants in the business world, they have they have that skill of learning how to speak on social media. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. So it can be learned. Some people just have it, and some people need to be taught. But that's the number one thing that I've seen over the last 4 years of being in the media production world is if you don't know how to speak on social media and you don't know hooks, you don't know the details, and you don't know the solution, which is the formula. I'm giving away the formula for free. It's hook, the first 0 to 3 seconds of every video or every podcast or whatever you're saying. You need a strong hook. You need details, meaning context. Give me more information. And the last most important thing that people don't talk about, which deems you as a credible resource online, industry leader, thought leader, why should we follow, like, and share your content? You have to give away the value.
Mhm.
What's the solution? What do I do with this? Right? You got me hooked. I have the context, and then how do I apply this to my life? So the more you help people and provide value right away, we're actually condensing the trust factor because we're in a trust economy. Not everyone's just buying things right now. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. So if you're a founder and you have incredible business and you know the business like the back of your hand and you're hiring, yes, you can hire as many incredible creators on social media, but you know the story, you know the soul of the business. And a lot of founders right now are stepping up and they want to be present because they're sitting on a gold mine of IP, and those are our clients. We do the media for the founders, for the geniuses who don't know how to speak on social media, who want to be known, like, and trusted in their industry for who they really are authentically, and they just need to be captured. So if you're ready to be seen, we'd love to help you truly learn that skill.
It's so powerful. It truly is. Visibility is like one of the not so secret secrets, right? Like that, what does it take? You have to be visible. You have to
Right.
be visible to your prospects. You have to be visible to, in human design and Gene Key speak, your fractal line, the people who are literally meant to learn from you and rise with you. That's your fractal line. And if you're not, one of the analogies I like to use is ringing your tuning fork,
Yes.
then no one can hear you. They're not going to find you. But as soon as you ring your tuning fork, the people who are meant to hear it, who resonate with your exact pitch, they're going to be able to hear you and find you.
Yeah,
It's so
absolutely.
important.
They're ready to be seen and they deserve to be seen. And I always like to say, let's make the right founder famous, right? Because there's so
Mm.
many people online that are, it's not even just about fame, but I mean, it's influence. There's
Yeah.
so many influencers, business, fashion, you make it. But are they sharing their genius with the world? Yes, some no. And we need to bring the right people forward to truly tap into the minds of the masses to help bring as much change as possible. And what not a greater client to work with than the founders who created these incredible companies. So that's where our heart is. And yes, we do work with other business industry leaders. We do work with creators, but we specialize in really extracting the genius from founders and allowing them to be seen on
Mm.
all social media platforms.
Oh my gosh. I love it. And if someone is listening to this and they're like, okay, that's it. That's where am right now. I need that. Where can they find more about you?
Yeah, so you can find me on all social media platforms, Ariana Acuna, or if you go to operationsmedia.com, you can request an appointment with us and we will get in touch with you very soon.
Beautiful. Ariana, thank you so much for being here today. I have loved every single second of this conversation. I find your energy to be so just real and warm and inviting. And
You're the best.
yes, I love being here with you. So thank you so much. Thank you for dropping all that wisdom and sharing so much about your journey as a splenic projector. I love it. It's so valuable. Um, Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Well, let's do a part two soon.
Would love
Yes.
it always.
Well, thank you, and I hope you have an incredible day.
That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening and be sure to like and subscribe. And again, if anything resonated with you from this episode, I would love to hear from you. Email me at Hannah, HANNAH, at expansiveceo.com and tell me about it. And if you're ready for your greatest expansion, you can find ways to work with me at expansiveceo.com and at x2wealthplanning.com. That's X, the numeral 2, wealthplanning.com. So until next time, remember that there is enough, you are enough, and your birthright in this lifetime is to be expansive.